let's have a look at this short clip from the modern-day prophet, Louis C.K. I have this working theory that comedians are the prophets of a secular society. Usually you hear it's the artist, it's the novelist, it's the filmmaker, and that's all true. But that list is a bit more PC and kind of, vague and subtle, whereas a comedian, for the most part, goes right for the jugular. And they have this uncanny, knack to call out America on all of our problems and all of our issues and somehow get away with it. So Louis was in town Friday night. I don't know if anybody was there or if you're hopefully way too Christ-like for that. But this is actually a clip from a few years ago when he was on Conan, and it's on why he doesn't let his kids have cell phones. And don't worry, it's been edited a lot.
The thing is, you need to build an ability to just be yourself and not be doing something. That's what the phones are taking away.
Yes.
Is the ability to just sit there, like this. That's being a person, right?
Yes.
No one can, you gotta check. Because, underneath everything in your life, there's that thing, that empty, forever empty. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes,
Just
I know what you're talking
that
about.
knowledge that it's all for nothing and you're alone. It's down there. And sometimes when things clear away, you're not watching it, you're in your car and you start going, oh no, here it comes, that I'm alone, like it starts to visit on you. Just the sadness.
Yes.
Life is tremendously sad just by, being in it. And so you're driving, and then you go, that's why we text and drive. I look around, pretty much 100% of people driving are texting.
Yes.
And they're killing, everybody's murdering each other with their cars.
Yes.
But people are willing to risk taking a life and ruining their own because they don't want to be alone for a second, because it's so hard. I was in my car one time, and a Bruce Springsteen song comes on. And it made me really sad. It's like Jungle, what's the one Jungle song?
Jungleland.
This one where he goes, and he sounds far away. It's like,
that's half of them.
Yeah, a lot of them. And I heard it, and it gave me kind of like a fall back to school depression feeling. It made me really sad.
Yeah.
And I go, okay, I'm getting sad. I got to get the phone and write hi to like 50 people. Anyway, I started to get that sad feeling, and I was reaching for the phone, and then I said, you know what, don't. Just be sad. Just let the sadness, just stand in the way of it, and let it hit you like a truck. And I let it come, and Bruce, and I just started to feel, oh my God. And I pulled over, and I just cried. I cried so much. And it was beautiful. It was like this beautiful, it's just this, sadness is poetic. You're lucky to live sad moments. And then I had happy feelings because when you let yourself feel sad,
yes,
your body has like antibodies. It has happiness that comes
rushing in to meet the sadness. So I was grateful to feel sad, and then I met it with true, profound happiness. It was such a trip, and the thing is, because we don't want that first bit of sad, you never feel completely sad or completely happy. You just feel kind of satisfied with your product. Yes.
And then you die. So that's why I don't want to get a phone for my kids. That's what I'm
Oh my gosh, that is so good. Louis is getting at two really key ideas here. The first is that as human beings, we feel. To be human is to be an emotional creature, and at times we feel deeply, and not all of those emotions are positive. Even when life, for the most part, is good, there is an undercurrent below all of it of sadness, what he calls the forever empty, that knowledge that it's all for nothing and you're alone. Now, yes, you and I, if you're a follower of Jesus, that's not really true. It's not all for nothing. We have meaning, we have purpose, we're not alone, we have each other in the family of God, and more than anything, we have life with God. But still, even for us, there is a sadness. Henry Nouwen, that master apprentice of Jesus from the last century, I've just been reading a lot of his stuff lately. He writes this: our life is a short time in expectation, a time in which sadness and joy kiss each other at every moment. There is a quality of sadness that pervades all the moments of our life. It seems that there is no such thing as clear-cut, pure joy, but that even in the happiest moments of our existence, we sense a tinge of sadness. In every satisfaction, there is an awareness of its limitations. In every success, there is a fear of jealousy. Behind every smile, there is a tear. In every embrace, there is loneliness. In every friendship, distance. But this intimate experience in which every bit of life is touched by a bit of death can point us forward in expectation to the day when our hearts will be filled with perfect joy, a joy that no one shall take away from us. He's saying that even as a follower of Jesus, and even if your life is good, on this side of resurrection, you never escape sadness all the way. It's there below the surface of your life. The other thing that Louis is getting at is that the human condition is bent to do everything it can to avoid feeling that sadness. Am I right? Which means the vast majority of us avoid silence and solitude at all costs. Because here's what happens. Here's the template. You're going through life at 90 miles per hour. You have an appendage known as an iPhone. You're in school. You're working a job. You have a family. You have a spouse or a fiance, whatever. You're just going through 90 miles per hour. You're hyped up on the drug of accomplishment and accumulation and your Twitter feed and busyness and life in the city and a night out with friends. And then all of a sudden, finally, you set aside intentional time in the quiet to be alone with yourself and God. That's our working definition of silence and solitude. Intentional time alone in the quiet to be with yourself and God, and you put it on your iCal, and you get there, and you take a deep breath, and you're, yes, finally, I'm here, and you slow down, and all of the sudden, all sorts of emotions that have been frantically trying to catch up with you for who knows how long start to haunt you, and start to rise to the surface of your heart, and you are exposed for who you really are, and where you're really at. It's your finger on the pulse kind of moment. Most of us experience what the writer Ruth Haley Barton, and we're using her book as our recommended reading, her work really inspired tonight's teaching. Most of us experience what she calls the push-pull phenomenon. On one hand, we feel pushed toward time alone with God, right? We just have this inner drive, this hunger and thirst, and this ache for God deep in the marrow of our bones because we're created for relationship with God. So we feel pushed toward Him. But then on the other hand, we feel pulled away from Him, away from time alone with God. All sorts of forces inside us, fear, insecurity, all of that, and outside of us, from our phone to Wi-Fi to the urban landscape, all conspire together to hold you and me back from silence and solitude. We live in the cross currents between these two forces. I want to see God. I don't want to see God. Push and pull. And I would argue the reason that so many of us give in to the pull, to our phone or to yet another activity or way too many yeses, is fear. We're scared to be alone with ourselves and God.